Welcome to the Kingspiration Podcast. This is the place where you'll learn how to get unstuck and gain momentum in your life and business. Each week, we tackle the real aspects of entrepreneurship, personal development, relationships, and fitness. I'm your co-host, Ethan King, from Atlanta, Georgia, USA, entrepreneur, TEDx speaker, and best-selling author of Wealth Beyond Money.
And I'm your co-host, Justin King, no relation to Ethan, from Cape Town, South Africa, entrepreneur, speaker, and business growth strategist. Our journey crosses continents and cultures, sharing wisdom and experiences to propel you forward. Welcome to Kingspiration. Let's start the conversation.
All right, so on today's episode, we're talking about AI and how are you actually using this in your business, in your life? Are you using it or not? Is it kind of on the back burner? So Justin, we were talking about ChatGPT a minute ago, which when I say AI, that's probably the biggest tool that I use right now. And I was telling Justin that I treat ChatGPT almost like an additional team member. But what are you using, Justin?
What you just said is an interesting insight, because I don't think I've actually viewed ChatGPT. So just in AI in general, I'm also very much just using ChatGPT right now. I haven't really ventured too much into the rest of it. But what you said around using ChatGPT is almost like using it as a sounding board. So it's almost you want to build a conversation with it to challenge yourself around viewpoints is really interesting. So I think that's for sure it is a use case. But one thing I was thinking now is the conversation that I've had around ChatGPT with a few clients. People often bring up the fact that they feel like it's cheating. So I'm very interested to hear what you think on that, whether you think it's cheating to use that. But my take on it is, do you use a calculator?
Right.
Yes, you do. Is that cheating? Or should you be doing all those calculations and those sums in your mind? And for me, ChatGPT is a calculator for words. If it's there, use it.
Yeah. Why not? So we were talking about, at least here in the US, ChatGPT has been banned in most schools. And I fundamentally agree with that to an extent, because when I was in school, you couldn't use a calculator in math class. You had to not until you got to like trigonometry and calculus in high school, then we could start using calculators. But when you're in fourth grade learning long division, you have to learn how to do it the hard way first. Then it's okay to use the calculator later in life. So I do think that it's a good idea to keep ChatGPT out of the hands of kids who are too young, because they might use it as a crutch and I believe it may stifle their creativity. My 9-year-old son, he likes to write raps, and he wants to be a rapper one day. And he plays the drums, and he's really big into music. So I told him, write your raps. Well, when he found out about ChatGPT, he would tell ChatGPT to write a rap about this. And ChatGPT will do it. It'll produce a pretty good rap. You can even tell ChatGPT, write a rap in the voice of Eminem about this kid named John who goes to the grocery store and buys eggs. And ChatGPT will produce an amazing rap. But I tell him, no, don't use it for that, because you need to use your creativity and create your own voice and not use that as a crutch.
So how creative do you feel an individual needs to be with the prompts, though? So, I mean, your output is also only going to be as good as the prompts that you put in. So I think,
right, I
actually agree with what you're saying, but I'm trying to view it through a different lens of the world is changing, and do we just apply our skill sets to something else? So the creativity aspect, because this thing exists now, does it mean that you don't have to be creative in being able to write an entire rap song or entire story? What you've got to be really good at and creative, and where the skill comes in now, is the prompting. And you've got to understand what is out there in order to be able to prompt very clearly in order to get the output that you want. So maybe it's just a shifting of what you need to become really good at. And then ultimately, in the case of using ChatGPT, right, whether it's speeches or rap music, it also allows you to have additional time to hone the craft of delivery, where you may get stuck on a writer's block and you're not able to actually create the content. Now you can, and now you can really hone that craft of delivery. So I don't know, I try and challenge myself around the way that I view it, because I think it just means the skill set that you've got to learn is suddenly just something else. Does that make sense?
Well, I agree with you, but I think you have to have the foundation first of so we're adults.
Yeah.
I've put in the work. When I was growing up, there wasn't ChatGPT. So I had to learn creative writing through, over the past 30, 40 years. Right. And I'm a pretty good writer, but now I have the ability to write something and then put it in ChatGPT and ask it to rewrite it or interject this, or now I have the skill to write a prompt and get it to give it back to me in the voice of whatever, Arnold Schwarzenegger or whoever, just for kicks. And then, but I know, because I have the knowledge of creative writing, I can pick and choose, and I can say, oh, well, that's pretty good. That's better than what I wrote. Or then the next sentence, I'm going to say, oh, well, that's shit. I'm not using that. And then, I can always massage it because I have the background that's already in my head. So that's why I think it's not really great for kids to use it. I think they need to have a foundation first and then use it. And then they'll know how to write good prompts, and then they'll know how to evaluate the output as well and whether it's good or not.
Yeah. Yeah. You've sold me on that 100%. If without anything in life, if there's no solid foundation, to take it to that next level is very, very tricky. So I would agree. Limited use for kids until you got to that foundational level, and then you can build on top of it. But with that being said, what are your primary uses from a business perspective that you use ChatGPT for?
Yeah, so I keep ongoing conversations. I use it mostly for marketing copy. I use it almost like a business consultant in one conversation thread. I use it as my social media marketing expert in another thread. So I found that the best way to use it is create these identities, these roles. And I start out with the prompt. I want you to act as a social media expert. And then for my company, here's the name of my company, Zeus's Closet. We're a specialty embroidery shop. We're like a tattoo shop for your clothes. And then I make sure it understands, okay, I'm a social media expert for this company that does embroidery. And then I could just give it things because now it's playing this role. And I can say, hey, we're running a promotion for small business owners who need to get publishers for their company. Write an Instagram post promoting this, and it'll do it. But it's doing it, and I give it a lot more context as well too. I'll tell it to give it, use the pain, agitate, solution framework in your writing. Use storytelling, implement like the from to, like to make it more juicy and to make it, make the content more engaging. You have to really, really massage those prompts. So that's what I use it for, is to shortcut the marketing copy, but also still have it be in our voice and be engaging. Yeah. And, usually when I've prepared it that well, it comes out even better than what I would have written. And it's obviously way faster.
Yeah. So that's amazing. And I use it in a very similar method a lot for marketing copy. So that's part of it. But where I've been finding a real positive use case for it, and this is just from a time saving point of view, is getting my thoughts in order to put proposals together for clients. So very often the way our sales process will work is getting in touch with a client, or a client gets in touch with us, and we would usually have a discovery call, so an in-depth discovery call to understand what is the frustration that this client has in their business. And when I'm on that call, I'm either recording the call, but usually writing down notes or capturing notes. And those are just bullet points that I'm capturing as I'm going. And then post those sessions, what I've been doing is just capturing those bullet notes straight into ChatGPT, and also some other additional thoughts that have come up while I'm going through them, just putting those down, and then getting ChatGPT to put that into some form of a narrative that I could then take, outlining problem for the client, what we propose as a solution, what the outcomes are going to be, the clear deliverables, so that it's in a kind of linear fashion that makes sense and is in a decent story form. So I've really found a great use from that point of view. dumping a whole lot of bullet
Yeah.
points in, giving the right prompts according to how we want to structure it, and then being able to get that through. So that's been a massive use case for me.
Yeah. And as far as other tools, probably my second biggest tool is Midjourney, that I use for creating art and images. It's easy to go down the rabbit hole on that, but like getting those prompts just right to create, I like it. I like to use it to create like these photorealistic images that I can use in emails and blogs and things like that. And it can produce some really cool things. And you can actually use ChatGPT to help you write the best prompts for Midjourney. So using AI, I mean, you see it more and more. AI is just getting interwoven into every tool that we use now. It's woven into Canva, into your email marketing tools. It's just going to be, we're going to expect every tool to have some level of AI in it, and it's going to be a part of life. So it'd be interesting to see how that affects the future.
Totally. The one thing that I will add, and I think we probably close to tying this one off, but is you've still got to put in some work, particularly on the ChatGPT side. So I got an email response. So I sent a client an email a few weeks ago. I sent a client an email just giving them a status update on a particular project. And the response that I got came straight out of ChatGPT, because it went line by line through each of the updates. And it was, thank you very much for giving an update about X, Y, and Z. I'm so pleased to see that this is happening. And also, I know the client, and they're relatively straight and direct in the way they communicate. So I think you've also got to, you realize you use the word massage, but you've got to massage it into the right format and make sure that it sounds like you. It's not necessarily just a copy and paste. It does the heavy lifting for you, but there's a little bit of work that's still got to be done at the end of this. I think you might get caught out at some stage.
Oh yeah, it could be offensive. I have a friend who owns a business, and he's aware that he's very abrasive when talking to his employees. So instead, he puts it in ChatGPT and uses that ChatGPT's response, and then talks to them like that. He got called out. One of his employees said, "That sounds like it came from ChatGPT." So you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's exactly that. I think that's great advice. Just be careful when using it.
All right. Well, that was a great episode. And Justin, I know you got to run, so we'll see you on the next episode.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Kingspiration. We hope this conversation sparked insights to ignite action in your life and business.
We're on this journey together, sharing our challenges and successes to help all of us take the next step towards building momentum and ultimately reaching our goals.
If you found value in today's episode, please share it with someone else who might benefit and leave us a 5-star review.
And remember to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on our weekly conversations. Until next time, keep rolling, keep growing, and keep being inspired.